Hey, have you ever wondered, especially if you're a project developer or an investor, that the rules of the systems are fake? That they are not actually helping you to deploy projects and not working, sort of working against you only for the rich people and not for the poor? Have you sometimes got this impression, this feeling? It is the case. Chances are that you are all suffering from the legacy system that is Bretton Woods. Exactly. So that's the major system that is actually ruining the way we actually conducting our world these days. But is it time for us to rethink the system? Is it time for us to rework it, especially if we're looking at a more sustainable world for 2030 and beyond? This is a question I want to discuss with you. So stay tuned. I'm going to give you a couple of words about it. Yeah, stay tuned. Hello again. My name is Tony T. I am the founder and CEO of Renewables in Africa. It's the first time that you see me. So what we do is very simple. We raise awareness about renewables energy in Africa, but also across the world. So if you are a project developer, if you are an EPC company, if you are an investor, or you are a supplier, you say, hey, I like to expand into Africa. I like to enter into Africa. You know, that's a great news. And I want to help you to do that and to succeed in that. That's why I'm saying that you have to engage with me because I know that you're going to be two key questions you're going to be asking yourself. Number one, how can I reduce my business development costs? And number two, so what is the way to fast track customer acquisition process? I could help you with both. Yes, I could help you. So what we've done is we've developed awareness packages that help you three ways. So number one, definitely helping you to basically get more visibility to the people that matter to you. Your target audience, people that buy your product, buy your services, participate in your program, we give you visibility to them. What it's going to give you then is the opportunity to get more qualified leads. When you get that qualified lead, hey, the sales is not far, right? It's as simple as that, right? I want to show you what I've done for other people. So book 15-minute call with me today. If you go to my LinkedIn, you will see it's possible to book in my calendar a meeting and we can have a conversation because I want to support. I want to help you. I want to make sure that, when you get into Africa, you make it a success for yourself, right? So I was talking about the Bretton Woods. I don't know if you heard about Bretton Woods before. If you haven't heard about Bretton Woods, maybe it's worth me sort of helping you picture what that system is all about. And after that, we can continue the conversation. Is that okay? So let me share a very short video so you have an idea about it, and we come back and we can discuss about it a little bit more. So stay tuned, guys.
After World War II, it was clear the world needed a new financial system. The gold standard was considered too rigid, but at the same time, economists were worried that countries would devalue their currency to boost exports. For this reason, 44 countries sent delegates to a conference held in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire, as of the 1st of July 1944. The US, which held two-thirds of the world's gold reserves after the war, was obviously the most influential player, and ultimately, all currencies ended up linked to the dollar, and the dollar was linked to gold. One important concern arose, though. If a country goes through an economic crisis, how can it get out of it without devaluing its currency? To address this issue, two institutions were created. One, the International Monetary Fund, which was supposed to lend money to countries that are in trouble and cannot attract financing from other sources. Two, the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, which is now called the World Bank and was supposed to help less developed countries grow. Unfortunately, as good as it may have sounded on paper, the Bretton Woods system didn't survive because the United States kept running deficits to fund various projects, and therefore, the amount of dollars in existence kept increasing while the gold reserves of the US kept shrinking, as more countries demanded gold in exchange for their dollars. As such, on the 15th of August 1971, Nixon officially announced that dollars would no longer be convertible to gold, thereby putting the final nail in the coffin of the Bretton Woods system.
Okay, excellent, guys. So you've seen and you now have a better understanding of what the Bretton Woods is, the system, right? So that's the system that governs us. So let me just summarize very quickly if you were not able to fully understand that. Yeah. So essentially, so for those of you who are unfamiliar still, so the Bretton Woods Conference was held in 1944, as you see, the 1st of July, and it establishes a new global financial system that reshaped the world economic landscape. And the conference led to the creation of two major institutions. I mean, I'm sure heard about them for sure. And I know some of you were asking where they're coming from. You have the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, and the World Bank, and which aim to foster international monetary cooperation between countries. If you remember, there was 44 countries that were there, but they were sort of representing the rest of the world. So could you see? So we have about 200 nations around this planet, but only 44 were represented. I'm sure you could already see what was going wrong there. Yeah. And the idea was to secure financial stability and support for the global economic growth. Because remember, that was actually toward the end of the Second World War. And the Bretton Woods system, it played a pivotal role in shaping the post-war economic order. But as we look at the future, as I say, I think it's fair to ask ourselves, so are the financial rule set back, still fit for purpose, or do we need to sort of reshape it for the rapidly changing world? That's a question that we're saying. But we can already see that the world is a different place to what it used to be. In 1944, right? Many things has happened. A lot of countries, new countries have emerged. You certainly have the likes of China, India, Brazil, and so on and so forth. So obviously, we can't always look at this rule and ask ourselves whether they fit for purpose. They fit for purpose, yes, after the war, but it is still the same. So obviously, my answer to that is kind of obvious that we need to be rethinking this system, yeah, because we have urgent needs, to reassess and to reform the financial framework. And the challenges, as I say, they're multiple. They're very different to what we used to have, from those in the mid 20th centuries. We have climate change, we have economic inequality, we have the need for sustainable development. They all now at the forefront. So what I want to put in front for you today, put forward to you, is actually three reasons, according to me, why we need a reform. Right, I want to make the case for a reform there because obviously I want to make our voice heard. I'm hoping that, and I believe through what I'm saying, some of you will sort of, let's say, recognize it and say, hey, you actually kind of speak for us here. Maybe others, maybe not the case. So I want to talk about the global economic shift. So you have emerging markets, in particular in Africa, they're becoming more and more, and increasingly influential in the global economy. Yes, definitely, we do have that. I mentioned the like of China, India. If we take Africa as a whole, we're still talking about what, $2.2 trillion economy. You can't neglect that, and also looking at obviously what the results the continent has, and results that people need in order to move to a sustainable world anyway. So if that's the case, so let's have a better rule of the game, yeah. But because we're still facing systemic financial constraint that really hinder the growth and development, especially for countries coming from emerging world, as I say. So reforming the financial rule, I think for me, could better accommodate this market, ensuring that they have tools, but also the support needed for them to thrive. So clearly for me, the economic shift is one key reason why I believe we need to rethink the system and reform it so that it's better suited for people that are in this world. So the second reason I want to put forward, right? I'm not going to make it a long video. Just going to go straight to the point. It's obviously I want to talk about climate change and sustainable development. So our current financial system, it needs to integrate sustainability more deeply. That's what I think. So we need framework that prioritize climate resilience and green investment. I know it started, but we need to go a little faster. And I believe that's the theme anyway of the climate on New York Climate Week. So that's actually starting in a week time. So on September the 22nd, on next Sunday. So I think the thing is about it's time, right? So that to show that there is sort of urgency there. Yeah. And the current system often failed to me to provide adequate support for developing nations, thriving to achieve their climate goal. The rules, something like I say, you got a US that is printing data all the time, right? And you got countries that have major resources, GRC, for example, talk about cobalt, they got most of it. Yeah. But yet when they want to borrow money, so they take it at, sort of a crazy rate, interest rate, right? So we can't have it like that. Yeah, that's not fair. That's not balance. So we need to have a better. Otherwise, you hinder the progress of these guys. Yeah. So and also if you talk about climate goals, so how can we encourage countries to actually develop and move to a more sustainable world if they can actually meet their primary needs. And if you do that, they won't do that because going green, has a cost, right? Definitely attached to it. And you want to do it, you want to be able to do that sustainably so that you're not going to be, sort of suffocating with debt. Yeah, big debt that we've seen, right? So a reform Bretton Woods system, it could align for me with international financial flows, with sustainable development objective and creating a more supportive environment for green project, because that's one of the major issues that actually stopping those green projects is actually the cost of financing and also access to financing, as simple as that. So we want to be rekindling, especially like as we're coming out of the war. Clearly the urgency was to rebuild, to move toward more sustainability. Now we have a new kind of urgency. We have a new war that we're fighting against, which is climate change, right? So that means we need to think differently. We can't just apply the exact same rule that we had in 1944. Most of the people living now, obviously, they were born after that. Yeah. So we gotta be taking that into consideration. Me myself, I was born after that, right? I could say that. But the third reason I want to obviously put forward here. So remember the first reason I talked about here. So I talked about the global economic shift that was happening, yeah, around the world. Then I talked about the climate change and sustainable development. And the third one that I want to talk about, which I kind of already mentioned, is the equitable access to capital. Because many emerging markets they struggle with the access to capital. That's what I would say at the beginning. A lot of people they can't just access, and I know what I'm talking about. I'm dealing with so many project developers, and as I speak to you at the moment, I definitely have 4 or 5 projects I'm dealing with, looking for the same thing. They want money, yeah, and it's not easy to get money. And some of them are in countries you would say are risky, but guess what? Those countries that are risky, that's where a lot of people will go in the back door and sort of pump the resources out of the country. Yeah, so come on, guys, let's be fair. So this country will struggle with access to capital for critical infrastructure. That's the thing. Critical infrastructure. What are those critical infrastructure? Power is one of them, that's for sure. But you also want to think about, for example, access to Wi-Fi. That's another telecommunication. Critical. You want to talk about what? Just bridges, roads, all of that. You can't develop a country without it. And if people don't have it, guess what? They will struggle to look at things, from a sustainable perspective. And why I still encourage them to do so, I can also recognize that, yeah, it'd be difficult for me to convince them, if they don't have access to basic needs, as I was saying, a development project. So by rewriting financial rules, we can ensure that these countries are not left behind. That's the thing. And I'm hoping that the New York Climate Week and Akhenaton, unfortunately, will actually really tap into that and deliver concrete resolution and initiative that works toward it. As I say, so we can talk, a good game, but if we not back it up, what is as fast as we can, yeah, and obviously, especially the people that made Bretton Woods, they have because they are the one ruling the world still now. They have the opportunity to do the right thing, and guess what? It's going to be even profitable to them first, right? So by rewriting the financial rule, we can ensure that this country are not left behind. They have the opportunity to secure funding for essential projects that drive growth and development. So this is what I wanted to put forward here, and I don't know if you support me. If you don't support me, that's okay. So just let me know what you think. What's your opinion? I like to hear that. So I just want to say that this conversation that we're having just right now, I was inspired after learning about an upcoming roundtable on financial reform for sustainable development. I think it's a rule of the game roundtable in New York happening, and I was invited to participate, and unfortunately, I won't be able to attend. But I wanted to take this opportunity, this video, to share my thought with you because that was actually what I was gonna say anyway if I'm participating in that roundtable because as we consider the future of financial system and the role in supporting a sustainable world, I like to call on those who have been actively involved in climate deals in Africa, for example, right? Because I think to sign up for a climate deals in Africa list, because this is actually an initiative that is this is organized by a couple of our partners. I think Energy City is one of them. Yeah. And then what I like to visit, they came up with a list, climate deal in Africa list that they put in together just to showcase what we have there. And this database will enhance the visibility. Remember, for us, we're all about visibility because if you're not visible to your target audience, you don't exist. As simple as that. So what a database would do, it enhances the visibility and the collaboration for impactful climate initiative in the continent. So definitely, if you have done some climate deals in the continent, so I would strongly advise you to subscribe to this database. So I'll drop the link definitely so below, so you don't see that you don't have access to that. And then I like to see as many people as possible, taking that forward, right? So excellent. So I just want to sort of wrap up because I don't want to be too long today. It's on Friday, no, sorry, Sunday. You enjoying your day, so have your family, whatever. So I want to take this, to thank you for joining me today as we're exploring this topic. So let's continue to engage in discussion that shape our future. So driving meaningful change and your thought and action, does I want creating a more sustainable world, and equitable for the future. So I would like to thank you for that. So as I say, so let me know what you think about the 3 points that I mentioned, the case that I made for reform. So I talked about global economic shift, talked about climate change. I talked about better access to capital for emerging markets. So do that. The key reason, I'm sure there are many others. You may be having some, but let me know what you think. Yeah, Jacinda, for example, who invited me to take it to the round table. So this is my contribution. Hopefully, you can take it to the round table and share that with people. Let me know what you think. So whether you like it. So thank you very much for following me. You have a beautiful Sunday. Don't forget, as usual, if you have to subscribe to the platform, you haven't done it yet. So share your comments, like the video, and let us know what you would like us to talk about going forward. And then comment it as well. And as I say, last but not the least, have a beautiful Sunday. And don't forget, tomorrow we have one day, one concept idea, as usual. You have a great day. Take care. This is Tony to you. Bye bye.